All right. So my name is Zak Khutoretsky, and some people know me as DVS1. Today I'm here to talk to you about something that we've been working on the last 2 years, and it's shining kind of a light and putting a focus on the disparity between DJ earnings and producer earnings. Just to give you a little context, about 2 years ago, right before the pandemic started, that New Year's, I was sitting in my hotel room ready to take my New Year's gig. And I had that moment of thought, I was going to make my end of year post, kind of say thank you to everyone, kind of acknowledge my successes for the year and my ability to be able to play music in my life and make a living from it. And I had that moment where instead of making that kind of selfish post, I really decided that it was time for me to kind of take a stance on that there's a lot of producers out there who are sending me music, and my skills are one thing, but the music I play and the music I get sent absolutely is the other half of my success and allows me to be a working and successful DJ. So in that moment, I kind of made this post, and I just thanked all the producers whose music I play, all the people who send me music over the years, and went on my life, played my New Year's gig, and then actually right after New Year's, I reached out to Sebastian, who works with me running my labels, and I said, Seb, I have this idea. I'm playing digital now. I've moved away from vinyl, and I've got all my playlists, and I've got them for the last couple of years, and specifically looking at those playlists, I realized that I see a bunch of names in there, young kids who I just know are not making any money from their music. And I said, Seb, I have an idea. Can you reach out to 200 of these people? I'm going to give you their names. Let's look them up. Let's find them. Let's send them a thank you note and maybe like $50. And he looked at me and he said, wow, great idea, but no way. That's going to take so much time for me to find everyone, communicate with them, get their PayPal information. How are we even going to deal with this? And we just kind of laughed at the idea and just kind of put it in the back of our heads. Pandemic hit, everything shut down. Just like everyone else, I kind of disappeared for a few months, figured out where my life was going and what I was going to do to survive. And probably about July, that first summer after the pandemic hit, I was back in my studio, I was surrounded by music again, and I had this thought. And I thought, okay, if I could build this idea to work for me, could I maybe build it to work for the entire community and all my colleagues and all my DJs and kind of producers who are sending me this music? And just casually, I started coming up with a name, and I was like, okay, Aslice, like a slice of the pie. And I reached out to a few close friends, and I kind of pitched this idea to them. And in everyone's excitement, we kept trying to find holes. We kept trying to find reasons why we shouldn't do this. And we just couldn't. And the further I reached out, I started reaching out to some, let's say, people in the industry at that point, started showing them the idea. And again, nobody could find a reason why we shouldn't do it or why we shouldn't take this on. And the pandemic gave us this moment that we had some headspace to actually consider it. So fast forward a few more months, I basically decided to put together a big focus group, about 50 people of kind of let's say high-profile DJs, producers, all the way down to unknown producers and DJs who are just trying to get their start. Brought in a few industry people from publishing companies, from booking agencies, from promo services, and really started to shape how this idea could look in the real world. Through all that, once we decided that this was legit and we could actually put this into action, I reached out to a few others and brought in Ethan Holben, who was the CEO for Yachtastar, which is the company that effectively kind of built RBMA and operated it. So I brought together somebody in the industry who understands this and can work on a high level with me, hired a development team, managed to finance this myself instead of looking for any outside finance and any outside perspectives that didn't agree with kind of our moral perspective of how this should work. Next thing you know, we spent the last year and a half developing this. We were doing focus group meetings with artists for over 5-6 months. We spoke to over 400 artists, doing weekly meetings, one-on-one meetings, and ultimately we ended up launching this to the public about a month ago. We spent 5 months in a beta testing it, and now I'm here with you guys, and I'm gonna show you a presentation kind of explaining the genesis of why and why we even found a reason and a problem that we needed to fix, and kind of show you where we're at today, and just kind of take you through the process. So let me start my way through. So in simplest terms, the existing system is broken. Over the last 4 decades, electronic music has undergone a seismic shift. What began inside warehouses and loft parties has made its way to mainstream radio, clubs, and festivals, and is now generating billions of dollars. In the 80s and 90s, the earnings between producers and DJs was fairly balanced. An artist with a couple of successful dance records could sell enough copies to earn a decent income. But things got bigger. As awareness and attendance have exploded, so have the DJ fees. But not everyone is reaping the benefits of this growth. Many of the people who make the records we all dance to are struggling to get by. Since the year 2000, music sales and producers' revenues have fallen rapidly, while DJ fees, in most cases, have actually skyrocketed. The COVID-19 effect, we all know. The impact of COVID-19 on our community halted work across the electronic music industry the last few years. Many of our family, friends, and colleagues lost income, and some were faced with the fear of losing their livelihood and even their homes. As vaccines continue to roll out and we slowly turn the corner, we really have a unique opportunity to create a new system, one that offers more equity and increased stability for everyone. We're at a breaking point. The top 10 DJs alone account for $273 million of the $1.1 billion earned by all DJs combined in 2019. With music sales declining and streaming royalties being almost laughably low, the vast majority of producers make virtually nothing. As a result, countless creators are having to find alternative means of income. And just to give you an idea of that chart on the side, we got this information from the IMS Business Report, and this is public information. I guarantee you this number is actually much higher, and this is just public numbers that are available. Now, we've seen the articles, we've read this everywhere, and we can't let this happen in our community. We've seen older artists who got bad record deals, who never saw money from their productions. We've seen Spotify talked about in the news and how they're actually reducing payout rates instead of increasing them. We're constantly seeing this topic brought up in the news, but nothing seems to change. We believe the existing solutions just won't work. The reality is that not all producers want or should have to be touring DJs to actually make a living wage. And streaming services, as we mentioned, are unlikely to increase their payment rates. And let's be honest, performance rights organizations haven't created practical or accurate reporting systems, and music recognition technology is used at less than 1% of clubs and festivals, despite being available for over a decade. We believe it's now or never, and we believe we need to rebuild with a fairer model. Aslice's mission is simple. We want to create a fairer music ecosystem with a software-based service that facilitates easy and accurate reporting, empowering DJs to directly share earnings with producers. So what we've built is an online interface and dashboard for producers and DJs, and we've built a software for DJs to have an easy way to submit playlists and get the data to where it has to go, which equates to money going where it's supposed to go. So the flow is simple. A DJ plays a gig, and for this example, let's just assume we're using digital media, USB sticks, but you can also do this if you use vinyl. So let's say you play a gig, you insert your external media into the computer, and you open the Aslice app. The DJ can import a playlist and enter the gig details, and a playlist can be edited, vinyl records can be added. From there, you pick a dollar amount you want to give. We suggest 5%. Aslice turns around and distributes that money shared to producers played in that set. We use machine learning technology to match all the tracks to public databases. We also will explain to you about unreleased music and how we deal with that. But ultimately, any money allocated for songs that we can't identify gets donated to charity and voted on by all the Aslice users. Now, again, just to reiterate, how it works for DJs, very simple. After a gig, Aslice extracts your selected history as a playlist. You can make any necessary edits and corrections or add vinyl records. You input the payment amount. You click to submit to pay producers their fair share. Aslice payments almost always can count as tax-deductible business expenses and are actually not an extra cost. How it works for producers is literally almost as simple. You register and verify your identity with us. You input your bank details, and you get paid for your music being played. Producers can also get paid for unreleased music being played by simply adding their Aslice ID number to a song's metadata. Every user gets a unique ID in our system, and we found a way that through that unique ID being embedded in the metadata, if you're sending unreleased music to DJs, we've got a way to match that back to you. Now, why we give to charity? We handle unmatched music differently. The current collection society model usually distributes money from unidentified songs to only top-tier artists who already dominate the market, not the actual artist who earned it. We believe that model's unfair. Aslice instead donates any money for unidentified songs to charities chosen by all the Aslice users. We thought it much wiser to take an approach that everyone could get behind rather than pay the wrong people. We believe putting the money back into the community, into arts education, music education, and programs that actually benefit creativity is much more important than giving it to the wrong people. Now, just to remind everyone about the tax deductibility that I mentioned. For DJs, similar to the music you buy, the equipment you purchase, the flights, the trains, the hotels, the industry meals, the meetings, and the other cost of doing business, sharing via Aslice is almost always tax deductible. What does this mean in simple terms? Paying producers their fair share can actually cost DJs virtually nothing extra, and actually in a lot of cases can reduce their tax burden. For tax reporting, we've made it really simple. Producers and DJs can access their financial reports at any time via the user dashboard, making it very easy for tax reporting purposes. Now, I always joke that this is the most complicated screen of all, but let me just try to explain how payments work for DJs and for producers. Excuse me. So let's just assume a round number. Let's say a DJ gets paid $1,000 for a gig. If you're paying attention to the 5% we suggest, from that $1,000, you would keep $950 of that gig, and you would agree to give $50 to your playlist. Now, let's just say for this example, a DJ played 30 tracks in that playlist. So on the right, you'll see how that $50 breaks down. So for 30 tracks, every producer would get $1.42 on that playlist. Now, Aslice charges 15%. This is similar to Bandcamp or other kind of services like ours in our industry that we're comfortable with and we're used to. We invest that 15% back into the company and getting the technology better. Now, here's how $1.42 stacks up against the other existing platforms that we all know. So with Aslice, as I mentioned, this can be an ongoing income for a producer. Every time that DJ plays their music, that $1.42 goes to that producer. Now with Bandcamp, let's just assume you sell a track for $2, you maybe released it with a label. By the time you do a split, you do the PayPal fees, you do all the transaction fees, you might get 81 cents, and this is a one-time earning. If you go to Beatport, it's even worse, it's 50 cents. If you go to Spotify, we're looking at around 650 plays to earn $1.42. Apple is a little bit better at 386. And you can see with our beautiful icon on the right, with collection societies, nobody knows. Unfortunately, a lot of the data for club plays never gets reported to collection societies. And also, let's be honest, with being a successful DJ or somebody who's touring or making a living from this, we live in a promo effect, being that many DJs receive and play completely free music via promo. And while producers are surely happy to have their music played, the only payment they get is potential exposure. Even if a DJ buys music, the existing model only pays a producer once for that sale. With Aslice, that same producer gets their fair share every time a DJ plays their music at a paid gig. Now, we believe that every little bit counts. We believe if we can get our entire community behind a culture of sharing, we would not only be creating a fair ecosystem, but we could truly change people's lives. Now listen, we're under no false pretense that tomorrow we're going to get every DJ in the world to give 5%. But if we did, based on those public numbers that we shared with you, we're talking $55 million that could go immediately back in the hands of producers. Now, even if we got 5% of that, we're already talking about a couple millions of dollars that can go back into the hands of producers that doesn't exist today. So we believe it's time to change the culture. We need our community's biggest, most respected, and most influential DJs and producers to start sharing and spread the word so that everyone can have a slice of the pie. Now, just to give you guys a quick run through the Aslice app and the online dashboard and just explain the process of the simplicity of uploading a playlist and the process of what it goes through. So first time I open up the app, I haven't loaded in any playlist yet. You can see my account, my name, simple options to create a playlist or import one. Let's just assume I use Rekordbox. Our program works with Rekordbox, Serato, Tractor. It also works independently if you just throw music onto a USB stick, but you use Pioneer CDJs or any type of Pioneer products which generate a history file. So we built this to be standalone to work with anybody. So let's just assume I'm in Rekordbox. I've already exported a text file, which, just to remind everyone, we don't collect any audio. This is all metadata files. So I've brought in my playlist. I see the whole playlist, and out of privacy, because we believe in protecting other people's privacy, the amount that I give as a DJ will never be disclosed to the public. This is voluntary, and I choose what I'm comfortable with, regardless of what Aslice suggests. So we've blurred out all my numbers here for my privacy. So my playlist comes in. As you can see, the gray line is me hiding a track, which I'll explain how that works later. And the red line is me deleting a track. So if I want to delete a track because maybe Pioneer queued it up, but I didn't use it, I can delete it in here. So basically very simple. I enter in how much I want to share. I enter in the date of the gig. I enter in the club, the name, the city, and the country. I can see how many tracks are in my list, and I can see the breakdown of how much each track will approximately get before we do our calculations. So once I submit that playlist, I get a simple confirmation. Then I immediately get a notification in my email that I uploaded a playlist. I go online. On my dashboard as a DJ, I can see some very quick statistics. I can click on any part of that pie, and I can see the month. I can see how many playlists I uploaded, the dollar amounts I gave. And I just get a simple statistic at the bottom for the most played producers, the most played tracks. And this is my playlist view as a DJ. So the yellow one is the one that's pending right now, and you could imagine, let's say our system hasn't processed it yet or matched those tracks yet. But once the playlist is matched, we give the DJ a social sharing tool, which they can promote their good deed or their contribution to the system. So if you click on that social share, I as a DJ now would see the counting of how many artists were in that playlist, the club mentioned, and I can post these. I can pick any color I want. We're going to increase the options in the future, but this is the initial stages of it. And you can pick any color you want and promote what you just did on your social media channel, potentially as an alternative to the selfie or the other shots that were typical of every kind of artist that after the weekend's over. Now you could potentially show your support for the community. Now, as a producer, you're going to get an email if you're in our system, and you're immediately going to be told that your track was played by somebody. So in this example, Richie Houghton played my track. And I got an email that said page 2 was played by Richie Houghton. And every 24 hours, any playlists that are processed, you're going to get an immediate notification of that track being played. So you don't have to go look on Instagram if somebody played your track. You're immediately going to find this data, and now you can promote this asset of yours. As a producer, you'll get a link back to your tracks profile. And in your tracks profile, you'll see all your tracks that have been played in our system. You can click View Details on the right. And right now, that track, that page 2 track that Richie played, now I can see that not only Richie played it, but Surgeon played it, a DJ Van Ann played it. And in the future, you'll be able to click on this View Playlist, which will be one of the last things I'm going to show you, and where that shows up. So this upcoming feature, the fan section, this will be the final stage that we're going to be announcing in the next couple months and releasing out to the public. Now the fan section exists to create space for all this information that Aslice gathers. And within that information, there is some privacy and options for artists who choose to partake in the Aslice system. Simply, there's going to be a news feed. And as a fan, you can follow any artist, you can follow any DJ, any producer, potentially any club, any venue, any city, because all the categories that we collect are all going to be categories you can now filter. Now don't worry, this won't be another news feed you have to pay attention to where you can post your dinner or your hotel or your flight. This is purely data-driven, and it's fact. It's whatever's submitted, it's whatever's processed, this is what gets shown here. So you can filter your favorite artist, other artists you follow. And as a DJ, I didn't want to create another place I had to maintain. So this profile that I have will be automatically built for me because I'm in the system. So my picture, my name, my links, my aliases, my social media, all that will be populated for me. And as a DJ, you'll see my list of playlists that I've submitted into the system, and my tracks will be tracks that other people have played of mine that are in the system. And as a producer, on my track page, I can add a buy link to any one of the tracks of mine that have been played. So again, now I'm drawing people to potentially buy that music and support from another perspective. Now as a DJ, there's two levels of privacy here. Somebody like me likes to have a little bit of secrecy to the music I play, and somebody, I always use Richie Houghton as the example, likes to expose everything. So Richie might choose to have all track information visible. In his case, when you look at his playlist, you'll see the artist, the remixer, the label, the track, the buy link. But if you're like me and you want to still have a little bit of privacy, but still do the right thing and support the artist, you'll have artist-only view. So the artist-only view would only show the artist I played, and instead of a by track, it would show you a view tracks. And what that would do is take you back to the artist profile. You might have to guess, you might have to look up and down, you might go digging deeper into their music, but it doesn't stop somebody like me from being willing to share this information, because I know that when it lands to the public, it's still in line with my privacy as an artist and what I'm willing to share and what I'm not. Last section, how will Aslice change the future? So we believe we're going to get some never-before-seen insights, and we're already seeing them now in the first 4 weeks of our public launch. Aside from crowdsourced track lists and Facebook groups or niche websites, most charts are subjective and honestly often created for promotion. With Aslice, the industry can see the music that DJs are really playing, when and where they are playing it, and how often. The implications have the potential to be enormous. Producers can finally see the DJs supporting their records and the context they're actually being played. Agents, managers, and labels can see cities where their artists are being played and seek out new opportunities. Promoters and fans have new tools for finding favorites by looking at DJs who play the music that they like. One of the big ones is honoring our heroes. Some people in our community were shocked when it was reported in spring of 2021 that electronic music icon, a guy called Gerald, received no money for his seminal record, Voodoo Ray. Others weren't surprised at all. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Other veterans have filed lawsuits or gone on record with similar allegations, but so many stories have only been told behind closed doors for fear of retribution. The industry norm sees the producer being paid last, if at all, with the labels, managers, publicists, etc., all getting paid first. Aslice's approach is to facilitate DJs sharing directly with the producers. Now, timeless records being played to packed clubs decades after their creation can actually mean timely payouts to the producers who made them. And last, the leverage. Performance rights organizations justify the use of flawed music recognition technology or using radio charts to guide payments for unmatched music because it's the best they can do. However, this is not good enough. The vast majority of working DJs now use digital technology, and Aslice has created a service to capture playlists easily. The solution is to deliver accurate reporting. While our core model is to create a sustainable system where performers can share directly with creators, we're not going to wait around any longer. However, with at least 100 million in royalties owed to electronic music producers going to the wrong place, Aslice aspires to challenge the status quo at an industry level in the years to come. We can do this when we stand together. And just to add one more point, like I said, we've seen it all in articles. You'll see an article pop up here and there. But none of these things seem to be able to change this momentum. But as a community, we can actually change that momentum. And the reality is now we're going to be able to provide producers with details that they can present to their collection societies, that they can present to their publishers, because we've got proof. We've got the playlists. We've got the data, the DJ who played it, the country, the city, and everything else. And this is the information that these collection societies say they don't have. So by working with us, and we're working actively to work with them, to combine information to help guarantee that secondary level of payment, we can do this as a community if we get thousands of users behind our platform to come at them as a collective instead of any one individual who can't seem to fix the problem. Simply, we need you, we need all of us. And we believe the time is now. As the world and the electronic music community look forward to the return of nightlife, this is our moment to make a change. We're open to the public, as I mentioned, so please feel free to go up to aslice.com and sign up so everyone can get their fair share. Thank you.